Hi, Mutt Jr. here. Bringing you today a game, not really a new game. It's pretty old game. This version right here, in fact, is maybe about a dozen years old. It's 3.5. I know it says it's from 2012, but that's just, there's been a bunch of little updates to it. But the game itself, this version of the game dates back to 2003. So that's what, 12 years old or so. And the history of the game, actually, well, I've got it right here on Wikipedia. Classic Empire goes all the way back to there, which goes back, well, it says here that it was conceived by Walter Bright in 1971 and actually released in 1977. It was originally written in Fortran, and it's for the PDP-10 computer at Caltech. If you want to interested in what that is, that's your PDP-10. Yeah. That's the PDP-10 mainframe computer. Oh shoot, I lost it now. There it is. So that's how far back it dates. Let's see. It goes on talking about the game. It was, someone broke into the security system and stole the source code and ported it over to other systems. And that was released in 1984 to public domain. There was a public domain version released that was for VAX and PC systems. Now here's a little interesting note. It says which required the ANSI.sys driver. If you know anything about history of computers and DOS, Windows and DOS, that's a very long time ago. That's back in my day, when computers, when I started getting into computers, and that's a long time ago. Let's see. Then there was the Empire War Game of the Century. That was Walter Bright again. Along with Mark Baldwin, who did the graphic interface. So now, everything up here was text-based. That's what the ANSI driver was for, is to get the text-based ANSI characters, or ASCII characters with different colorings and stuff. This was all on a DOS screen, so I wasn't even in Windows yet. It was just plain text system. And that's what I started playing on, was this version, actually. A new version came out, added the graphical interface, and this one was for Atari, Amiga, Commodores, Apple, Macs, and DOS still. But this one was the actual graphic interface, and that's been pretty much the interface ever since. In the early 90s, we have the Empire Deluxe came out, and this one added in a basic mode for beginners and an advanced mode that added more units like bombers and armored units, which the original game didn't have. Also made the map size a little bit bigger. In 2000, that was Mark Baldwin again with Bob Rokowski that did that. In the early 2000s, Mark Kincaid of Killer Beat Software bought the rights to the game, and he produced a version called the Internet Edition. Previous to this, any multiplayer games that they had was either having somebody at the keyboard, swapping the turns at the keyboard to play, or they had a mode it's called Play by Mail, or PBM, where you'd have your turn, save it to a file, then you have to transfer that file to your opponent, who opened it in his game, played his turn, saved it to a file, sent it back, and it just went back and forth like that. This version, the Internet Edition version, allowed people to actually play online, and that's the version I have, if you notice, Internet Edition. I've never actually played online multi-user like that, but it's there. So a couple years later, there was the Enhanced Edition, which added more units to the game: artillery, satellite missiles, helicopters, bigger maps. Just kind of put the game on steroids, I guess you could say. Um, I've tried that. I've downloaded the demo for it, and I just didn't really care for it. So I kept with the Internet Edition to keep that classic feel of the game. That's what I'll enjoy. And then just this last winter, they came out with a mobile edition. It's Android's, iOS, and it doesn't say here, but it's also on Kindle Fire. So um, now, as I said, it's a turn-based game. It's kind of loosely based on Risk, and as it says here, the concept was partly based on movies, Battle of Britain. So there's a lot of differences between this game and Risk, but you'll see there's a lot of similarities too. And if you're interested in the game, here it is. It's killerbeesoftware.com. You can go out there, and there's a link that can get you. Here, let's go there. You have game right here. You can Empire Enhanced Edition. It's also got the Internet Edition right there. You can download a demo for it. This one down here is just a client to play a network game. You can't actually play a standalone game with this. So I'm not sure if you had two versions of this or two versions of this, you could play a network. One person could have one, another one could have it and play network. I don't know why you went and spend $20 on something just for that. I don't know. But then there's also a couple other games out here. There's The Perfect General and Galactic-Cards. Now, I've never played either one of these, so I can't tell you what they're like. I haven't even downloaded a demo, so. And if you're interested in the mobile versions, it's on iTunes, Google Play, or the Kindle app market. So, that's a little background of the game. And like I said before, I like the classic feel. That's why I'd stay with the standard game. I don't really get into the advanced. I played it a few times, but I just don't really get into it. I like the classic feel of the game. And beginner is just really easy. There's no fog of war, they call it. You see what your opponent's doing. Of course, they can see you. And it's a really small map. So we'll do standard game. And here's the different options. You got a 3.11 or 3.5 version map. I guess that's the algorithm, is what I'm guessing. I'm not sure what this DLL is, generate map with DLL, so I'm not sure what that is. But here we also have a named world, where you actually put in a name, and it uses that name in the algorithm to generate the map, so that every time you put in the same name, you're going to get the same map. You got game scenarios here, where it's like a game in progress and you're jumping in, taking control of one side. And world map, this is what I usually like to do. Big Earth. This is version 3.5 map, so it's a map version that's designed for this game. And we'll go ahead and we'll open that. Player setup, you can have up to 6 players. You have to have a minimum of 2, so playing myself, which is local here. You could also set up a second local person, play by mail, if you want to do that, because that forces you to save the file and stop at that point. So you can't get ahead from your opponent. Well, you got the internet players right here, and 3 different levels for the computers. You can also change the combat and production settings, so I can give myself an advantage or disadvantage to make it harder on myself for either one, or do it for the opponent also. Just leave those alone. I don't really touch those. And we go on in. Ask you for your name. Mutt Jr. Got that in. And here we go. I'm starting on just one little island right here. San Juan. Okay, so here's the different units we have. We've got Army, which can move across land, and it's the only thing that can capture other cities. See, I only have one city here. The opponent only has one. He's producing units. I'm producing units. I got to go find him. I don't know where he is out here. So this is the Frog of War, all the black. As I start moving around, this is going to start expanding. So I'm going to see more and more of the map. I'm not really going to see where he is, though, until I discover him. Then I'm going to know he's there. And I'm not going to be able to watch his units move to where they go either, but I'll have a general idea this is where he's at. So I want to build armies to get on land and capture cities. Fighters, I don't use fighters a lot, but they can be good. Do some exploring. They move 5 spaces per turn. Armies only move 1, so you can move them out quite a bit. But they're the only negative side with them is that they can only go out a total of 20. They can only fly a total of 20 spaces before they have to land. So they have to either get back to this city, or if I had another city out there somewhere within 20 spaces, he could land at that city. If he doesn't, he crashes, and that's it. He's gone. These two also are not very powerful. They're pretty weak. They're easy to destroy, but you build them mass numbers, and just throw them at anything. You got enough armies, you could take out even a battleship. Transports is what's used to transport the armies across bodies of water. So we're going to need, in this case, we're going to need to build a transport because it's just a single island. Destroying submarines, those are not very powerful, but they each have their benefits. Destroyers are fast. They move 3 squares per turn, as opposed to all other of the seagoing units, which only move 2. So they're pretty good for exploring. You can explore around coastlines and places where a fighter just can't reach to. Submarines are good stealth, because you can't. You could come up across your opponent's submarine and be right next to them and not even know they're there unless you're there with a destroyer. Destroyers can sense them, but all the other units can't unless you're trying to occupy the same square that the sub is, and then you get into a battle with the sub. Cruisers, they're a lot more powerful. They have heavy armor, and they can attack army units on land. That's right on the shore, so you have to be right next to them to attack. That's the case for any battles. Battleships, same thing as cruisers, just a lot more. They can inflict more damage, they can take more damage, and that's about it. They can inflict and take more damage. And a carrier, you can carry fighters. So you could carry fighters out past the point where they could run out of fuel. And you can take them out, and they can go out, and as long as they can get back within those 20 moves and land on the carrier. So you got to be careful with those, though, because if you're sending them out behind you and the carrier's still moving forward, you got to remember that plane has to get back to it. So you're trying to hit a moving target that you may only go out at that one point when you launch it from the carrier. May only go out 10 squares, taking 10 squares back, but now you've moved the carrier 4 squares. It's all of a sudden 4 squares in the opposite direction. You suddenly can't get back and run out of fuel. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a transport. Okay, now it says it's going to take 30 turns. So we're going to see up here, this is the turn number it is. This is turn number 1. And when it comes back, you'll see it's up on turn number 31. Done, yep. So there it is, in turn number 31. Now we want to load up the transport, so we're going to produce armies. Transport's just sitting there. We're going to go ahead. Oop, there's another city already. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to load them up. So we're going to take them out. And to move around, it's just a keypad. Just the direction of the button, the key on there is the direction it's going to move. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them an order. Here's all the different orders you can give. Tell it where to move to. So that'd be like, well, you can hit T, as it said, or use your mouse right here, and it goes on out. We'll cancel that. Hit just escape. Move to a waypoint. You can set up waypoints out here, and it's going to move to that waypoint. So it doesn't have to be actually into a city. Patrol. Patrol, you're going to set up a path for it to follow, and that's all it's going to do is just follow that path, round and round and round. The path goes out, it can be as many turns and everything as you want, as long as it ends here, right back here again. Go home, it's just going to find the closest city and go in and dock, or in place of a plane land. Explore, it just randomly explores the black areas here, the unexplored areas. Escort, you can have this tag along with another ship. So the first ship, you give an order to go somewhere, this is just going to follow along with it. And Sentry, it's just stay here. He'll never get another order until I decide to come in and give it an order. Otherwise, he's never going to ask for one. He's just going to stay where he is. Load and unload ship, this is for transports and carriers only. I can tell it to load, and it's just going to sit here until it gets loaded up with 6 units. And then, of course, you can clear the order if it already has an order. You can skip this turn, or you can just delete the unit. So, if you look at it right up here, it doesn't say anything about any units being in. We're going to give it an order to load. So, do L. And there you see the icon kind of changed. The graphics kind of changed. And it's just going to keep asking me this. And we'll get them all loaded. And there he is. Now you see it tells you up here, 6 Army. So this is loaded. Let's go ahead and double click on the city, because we don't need a producing armies anymore, and we'll tell them to produce destroyers now. And while it's doing that, I'll go out and capture other cities. We'll capture this one. Capture city, you just point in the direction of the city. I could just click on it. It's going to fight the battle. Now that white was a neutral city. So let's go ahead and we'll do a battleship in this one. And when we find the opponents, we'll see that they're going to be a different color. Let's see, where do we... Choose player color. Here we go. So it's going to be green when we find them. So... yeah, we just go around exploring. And this, well, this was San Juan. This one was Santo Domingo. So this is North America over here. And here is Baltimore. So I can tell it. But one that's not on here is actually a command. I tell it to wait. So that means you're still going to get your turn to get an order. It's just we're going to wait for right now. So the transport's waiting, but the army's on there. Well, they sense that they can attack, so they want to attack. That's why they're blinking at you right now. And there, I just captured the city. And now we're back. This is still the same turn. And now we're in a new turn. And just keep going, capturing the cities. And see, this is North America, so it's large landmass. We're going to need lots of armies to go out and start capturing. But if you notice, I mean, the map can be... This map's not so bad. Well, let's go. I guess we're going to have to go zoom 5. So you see a little blinking dot right there. That's that transport. Yeah, so you got the rest of the world here to explore. Plus, somewhere out here is going to be the opponent, which I got to find him. And once I find him, then there's going to into a big battle, and we're going to have, front lines drawn. And, I'm going to try to break through the front. He's trying to break through at the same time, and it really gets to be. I really enjoy it. You're trying to come up with different tactics and strategies to try to bust through and try to, you know, capture his cities and push him, just keep pushing him back until he's got nowhere else to go and he finally resigns. That's the game. So, if I'll put a link down below, um, get into this site here. So if you want to give it a try, like I said, there's the demo versions. Oh, and yeah, no, this is never going to time out. I could sit here, I could leave it sitting right here at this point with this transport just blinking, waiting for an order. I can have it sitting there for a week. I could have it sitting there for a year if the computer stays up that long. It's just going to sit here waiting. So, but yeah, so if you want to try it, here's the demos, and if you enjoy it, go ahead and it's not too bad. It's a little higher price than some other games, but it's reasonable. It's not like a lot of the PlayStation games. You're getting up $50-$60. So that's going to be it, and hopefully this video turns out. I actually got a new piece of software I'm using. I've got, if you see it right here, I got Open Broadcaster. So it's been a lot of trial and error. This is actually about my 5th time trying to make this video. I just kept having to adjust the settings until I got it just right, and hopefully this one is right. So I kind of like this because I used Fraps before, and Fraps did not like recording this game. I could not get it to work, and even this, it had some issues. I had it set up to do the entire desktop, the monitor capture. I tried the window capture, and it would capture the game, but it wouldn't capture any of the pop-ups or the menus up here. So yeah, and hopefully this will work out. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get some different stuff out. I've only done mostly Minecraft videos in the past, so I'm gonna try to get some other type of games done, and throw some Minecraft in with it. Still, I still got Minecraft on the computer, you can see right here. So until next time then, I guess this is gonna be so long.